Hello and welcome to the weekly podcast. This is the Scarf Bergara War by county, for county fans by county fans. Yeah, I've not even read
and it's going downhill from now.
It's always downhill. I'm in charge, Andy. we are sponsored by Overpass in association with Edgeley Con Club coaches. What else am I supposed to say? So as you can see, I am Waggie. This is why it is terrible as an intro. We have not got the super slick Russ. He was going to host this week, but he decided, because Andy decided he was back, that he'd take the week off. So he's thrown me to have to deal with Andy. So I will do my best, and I can only apologise. So with that, as I introduce Andy, how are we doing, mate? It's been a few weeks. Are you good?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I had a week off. One was enforced. Long story. Won't get into that. But yeah, raring to go. I feel like we had a week off last week. So I kind of like pretty much, because it was son's last week off before going back to school. So I basically didn't have a phone. I just left my phone at home on days out and trips and stuff like that. I've come back on Monday and you're about to throw me under the bus, aren't you, Waggie? Because
no, don't know what you're talking about.
What was the first thing that I did on Monday? Why people are probably wondering why Dave.
No. Let me do this. Let me do this properly, Andy. Okay. So right. At the Scarf Bergara War, we are a no blame culture. Okay, it's a no blame culture. So as you can see, apart from the actual advertised that Kashi was going to be on, our head groundsman, as you can see, it's not our head groundsman. It is actually Dave from the Co-op. So as this is a no-blame culture, it is completely and utterly Andy's fault.
And that's why you got your apologies in at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
As soon as I realised, I was like, oh, shit. And Heather was like, what? I was like, I've only gone and got Dave and the head groundsman on the same episode. And Heather was like, well, that's all right, isn't it? I said, well, no, not really, because they're both like...
Got a lot to say.
Yeah,
got a lot to talk about.
They both have enough to say within their own, to have their own slot. So you can't... And then... So I was like, well, maybe I could drop out. And then I was like, no, it just doesn't work. So straight away, because Kashi was obviously, Dave's been booked in for a month, basically. So, yeah, and massive.
I'll tell you, gents, a quick little story about Kashi. And this is absolutely true.
Oh, yeah, we like this.
No, it's not anything to get excited about. But
don't tell us then.
Something that they did. And what happened was, when we lost my father, I spoke to my brothers and sort of says, what had happened was, after a while, the undertaker came back and he rocked up with this. He knocked on the door and he opened the door and he came, basically, he had the ashes and it was like, whoa, what are we going to do with these? So I spoke to my brothers and I said, look, have a think about what you want to do with these ashes, because they're sort of sat on my mantelpiece and I don't quite, I'm not too comfortable with them there. Anyway, they didn't really come up with anything. So I said, look, my dad took me to the first ever county game and I took him to his last ever. And his last ever game, believe it or not, was when we won promotion back to the league at the Halifax game. And he passed away about a month afterwards. He was quite seriously ill. And I spoke to my brothers and said, do you want me to ask at county, because see if we could scatter his ashes there? So I got in touch with the club and the brothers said, yeah, it's a really good idea. And obviously Cash is the head groundsman. And when we organised for the family and some friends, close friends, because we used to take Dad in and come for a drink with us and all that. And, so he became very popular, and every time he wasn't there, all the lads would say, how's your dad? And, so we went down to, and Kashi's shown us, and he led us up to the pitch, and he dug a hole right at the back of the G-line behind the goal line. And he'd done a really nice square hole. And he says, listen, when you're ready, drop him in there. And, and he said, I'll give you a few minutes. And as he was walking away, I was like, it was quite emotional, really. And all of a sudden, Cashy turns around and he shouts to me, Dave. So I looked at him. He says, don't worry, pal. I'll look after him. And I just thought, what a lovely thing to say. It meant so much to me. I've never been able to thank him. But when you see him, tell him from me, I think he's great. Not only but
he is. It
was like a difficult day, and what he said just meant so much. It was a lovely thing for him to do, and the way the club handled it, it was quality. So let's talk about it.
I've asked Heather, to be honest, Dave. I've asked my wife Heather if she'll do this, if she'll scatter my ashes on county. She said yes, but I know for a fact she's literally just going to pull them in the black bin. just in time for bin collection on the Thursday. So.
Well, it's funny. I've got my two brothers. They're not really into football, but because Dad's behind one of the goals, they came down and I remember the faces because when we went on the pitch, it was honestly it was like you know what it's like. It's like a bowling green all year round now. And they just couldn't believe it. The pitch was like absolutely a bowling green. It was immaculate. And the youngest one's been back with us because we sometimes he'll meet up with us and we'll have a drink. And then, like I did when I took Dad and so it's a nice thing for him to be there because it's accessible. So, once a season, because football, they'll come and make a day of it, and we'll go to the football and have a few beers, and it's just a nice way of remembering him by. It's quite.
Just cost you £25 a time, though.
And that's not cheap. And when you take the beer into consideration, it does get a bit steep, but But, good.
Yeah, excellent. So tonight, what we're going to cover, we're going to talk about deadline day drama. Was there really a lot of drama for us? There's a little bit, but we'll go through that. Talk about deadline day. We'll talk about the squad as it is now. We'll talk about our young guns, I suppose, in the 5-3 win in the virtual BDMS, whatever it is, the cup, whatever it's called this year. Talk about that. We might touch on Wigan. Talk about Wigan on Saturday that's just gone. We'll talk about. Well, we'll talk about the first half then. We will talk with Dave about the co-op, about what's coming up with that. And then, as we've already had a comment of, where's he gone? So, Andy Bullock, last but not least, can't wait for random shit of the week. There we go. So, yes.
And we've got a little bit of that's if Waggie remembers what to do. We've got a little bit of a new thing for that, haven't we, Waggie?
Oh, yes. It's not Andy singing, thankfully.
No, it's not. Thank God. Just quickly on, I know you've mentioned the Overpass. Obviously, Patreon members. If you're a Patreon member with Overpass, you're getting on a limited offer at the moment, 20% off on all their gear apart from the county tees. They're not included. And a quick mention to Scouse, Steve and Paul Dawson, who do the coaches who we're in partnership with. They're this week running for the first time a luxury coach.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Wow. All singing, all dancing.
It's like a player's coach.
Oh, it looks unbelievable. So they're basically doing it for the first time this week. They're going to trial it going forward. They're looking to do it for the Northampton game on New Year's Day, Cardiff, Exeter and Wimbledon for starters. And I believe it's going out to their regulars who go week in, week out, first of all. And then obviously that's the way I believe, but yeah, looking good, because if that gets, if they do more of those,
it is slightly more expensive than the normal coach, but it's worth every penny. Looking at the pictures, it is like a player's coach.
If I knew that was available, If I knew that was available, I'd be going to Plymouth. So, but yeah,
exactly.
Shout out, obviously, really to Steve and Paul. I don't know who's in charge there. I think Paul does most of the work and Scouse just takes the credit. But just a shout out to both of them because they do an amazing job, just like all the other coach people who sort those out. Yeah. So brilliant. Yeah. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Carry on, Waggie.
Don't forget, it's a good point because obviously we've continued the sponsorship of discounted coach travel with the Con Club.
Yeah.
Like you say, Paul and Steve do deserve a lot of credit for what they do for the supporters because. Sometimes organising as many coaches as what they do takes a bit of planning. And I know we was hoping to go to Wembley when we got knocked out by Orient. I think they had provisionally booked 10 coaches, But we wanted to support that, and we're glad to support it again. So if you're a co-op member, you will get discounted travel on the Con Club coach from Edgeley. So. Well done, Steve and Paul. It's much appreciated.
Yeah.
So
thanks,
absolutely brilliant. So, deadline day. We finally signed Onyango. I think the worst kept secret in football, apart from Isak going to Liverpool. We eventually signed him, and then we signed Ben Osborne, 31-year-old central midfielder who can play on the left. Who sounds as if he's pretty good mates with Norwood. So, although it was expected, do you think that's a good fit bringing on Yango in? Dave, what do you reckon? You think?
I'd like to think. Well, I certainly, I've got fond recollection of him when he was on loan the first time, and I thought he sort of he got better as his loan went on, and there was a couple of really standout performances. And so I think to get him back at the club, if he hopefully might slot in a little bit quicker and look that part again, because at his best he looked promising. So I think that was a good signing. Yeah.
Where do you think he'll play? Where do you think his position is?
Well, that's $1 million question. I'm not too sure I'd like to, but certainly, you see him bombing on down that wide, and that's when he looked most at home to me. That's when I thought he looked the biggest threat. So, I don't want to say if he'll just walk back straight into the team, but having said that, the amount of injuries we pick up in, obviously suspensions, and the amount of football games we play as well. I mean, Dave's always very mindful that he doesn't want to burn players out. So we do use a lot of the players in the squad, don't we? It's not as if we have a first team and then the squad players only get a chance if somebody's injured. Players will get rested, formations will get changed. So even if he's on the bench and he wants to change things around, he'll probably come on and have a part to play. So Dave's always very keen on that, and I can see where it's coming from because it's a long season, and we have these periods of when you're playing Saturday and Tuesday, and it's quite a demand when you consider how fit the players are and what they have to get through over 90 minutes nowadays.
Yeah. If you read the I've seen a lot of the social media meltdown about, players we should have got in or didn't get in, but for me, I don't see the point in panic getting players, right? And I've used this word quite a lot recently, but it seems like there's a bit of a panic going about at the moment. But we're picking up points. We're not playing brilliant. We all know that. The team knows that, and so does the management and coaching staff. But we're still picking up points, and it will click. We always know that we don't have great starts, but we've not had a great start again, but we're still picking points up. So I didn't see, we've got a few players out injured, so I didn't see the rush or need to go out and panic buy when there's still another window in January. And let's face it, that's when we tend to do our sort of business end sort of signings, don't we? So I think on Yango, yeah, like you said, Waggie, best unkept secret in ages. And if you watch his interview that Liam Richardson did with him, he was, even when he was injured, just to hear that he was always coming back was a nice thing to hear.
Yeah.
And with Osborne, wow. On paper, that has to be, if it's Norwood and Osborne, on paper, that has to be the best midfield pairing in League One and possibly above. It's unbelievable. Now, I've seen everybody, as soon as we sign a player, gets straight onto Wikipedia and checks his stats for injuries. And
his injuries.
not even kicked the ball yet. But if you read the article for The Guardian, it was The Guardian, wasn't it?
The Guardian, yeah. I've not had a chance to read it yet. I believe
brilliant inside depth of what happens on a deadline day, and it was basically all surrounding us getting Osborne, with plan A, B, C, and D in the frame as well, in case we didn't get Osborne. But as soon as it became aware that he wanted to drop down, it's absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And also, I think, as Gazendo's just said, that Moxon does need some time on the bench. But as we talked about in last year's show a few times, that he also needs competition, because Bailey and Fiorini aren't going to push him for that place. Camps and Bates are injured. He needs that so at the moment, Moxon's kind of got a guaranteed start place, hasn't he? Because let's face it, he's not been brilliant, has he? Whether that's just taking time to gel, or I'm on the fence with him a little bit, but I'm giving him a bit of, because whether he's ready to be in our team right now, I don't know. But he needs competition. And if Osborne will give him that sort of like kickstart, then...
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think Gazendo says, we're going back to... no, it's gone. To Gazendo, a friend of mine is involved with the Everton under-23s, and he told me he was very, very close in Dave Moyes' plans. So, because I kept looking at this, and officially his contract expired in June. But I believe that he had a 1-year extension, which I think they've triggered. So it'll be interesting to see what happens for this year, because he's been on the bench for all 4 of Everton games so far this season. So he's obviously very, very close to it. And, he was in Pinatar with us, wasn't he, and stuff. So it's good to see that he's actually been allowed to come to us. And I think we've got a very good record, haven't we, with young players now. And as you said, that Osborne, him and Norwood together. Osborne's only ever played in the Championship or the Premier League, and he's come to League One Stockport. And I know, by the sounds of it, Ollie Norwood had a pretty decent conversation with him and just basically told him, "You need to come here." That's the general gist of what I got from his interview. So, really got Liam Walker points in saying, busiest deadline day I've ever seen, both in and out. So we had a few players go out, didn't we? We had Keki went to Walsall. Crew. No, Mingy.
No, Walsall. Mingy went to Crew.
Mingy went to Crew, yeah.
You think we should know all this? Like, it should just reel off information.
I wasn't actually going to talk about players going out. Completely forgot about them. It was only the players coming in. I was thinking about talking about. But yeah, so those 2 players. So we've only made 2 signings. We've not got rid, but we've put a few players out that need game time, don't they? Likes of Rydell and stuff. So going back to this, because I was supposed to be on BBC Radio Manchester talking about the transfers on Monday night, and I made a list, and this is just unbelievable. So our signings so far this season, for the close season, we've signed Mothersill for $1 million. We've signed Brad Hills for $1 million. We've signed R2 Hoskonen, a Finnish international, 28-year-old Finnish international. We've signed Olowu, who won League 2 with Doncaster. We've got Owen Dodgson on a loan with a buy clause from Burnley. we've got Eden from Peterborough, O'Keefe from Barnsley, Onyango from Everton, Nathan Lowe from Stoke, who pretty much every club in League One was after. And now we've got Ben Osborne coming in. What? I mean, how? I don't know. We've lost some decent players with some club legends and all that. What? I've never. That is a brilliant close season for 3 seasons on the trot, let alone just one.
And this is why I don't understand why some fans, not all, are querying why we haven't signed more players. That is just an unbelievable list that you've just reeled off there. It is scary. You know, I bring this player up a lot, but let's not forget the signings of Chris Churchman days, you know, compared now we're signing Osborne. You know, it's like, what's going on?
We've signed £2 million players.
Brilliant.
That's just unbelievable. So with that, do you think we're strong enough to be, and I'll go with Dave first, because I'm pretty sure I know your answer anyway, Andy. Do you think we are strong enough or we are good enough now to be pushing for that second place or for winning the league?
Can I elaborate that? What about you shorten it? Because we've still got another window to go. So basically, do you think that between now and the next window, we've got a good enough squad to make a push on? Would that seem fair, Waggie?
Yes, yeah, I'm happy with that, yeah.
I know you asked the question, but
I'd say so. Obviously, there's certain things that are out of your control, and injuries is one of them. But you look at the squad, you know, like you say, the likes of these players that are coming that we're attracting now have just got, I mean, so much experience, haven't they? Like you say, they've not only not played in a standard lower than the Championship, they've actually got a huge amount of experience of Premiership football and Championship football, because you're not talking about a few games, talking. And it's just, and like you say, I think that's one of the things. Obviously, Ollie Norwood's captain, and you can see why. Is to me, he oozes quality. You know?
It's ridiculous, isn't he?
Phenomenal. But you don't see the other side of the thing of like him having a word of these people and saying, "Look, this is a serious club. This club's going places. Come and join us. It's a great club to be at." And you speak to, you know, that all you ever hear from players is really positive things about coming to county, and like you say, that's one of the reasons we've got, you know, Louis Barry. I mean, him and his dad absolutely loved it at county, and you know, his dad had his county shirt on. He was like jumping around with us in the Cheadle, and it was just. But yeah, it's not just something that the club are saying. It's actually all the players and the players themselves that are saying it, and they want to be part of it, and it's. Just like you say, it's such a turnaround from where we were in such a short space of time as well, really. Because I mean, it wasn't that long ago we were North Ferriby and
yeah.
No, it's
I know everyone says that you can't think like that. Well, you got to in a way, because we've come so far. You've got to remember that's where we've come from.
It's almost like a pinch yourself moment, isn't it, Waggie?
Yeah, it is. It certainly is.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not exaggerating. This is absolutely true, because when we played North Ferriby, there was a guy near me, and when the referee blew his whistle, he stood up and shouted at the top of his voice, "Thank God we weren't playing the whole of Ferriby." It was
brilliant. So yeah, and say few comments coming in. Gazendo, strongest signings have seen EP in 48 years. County 1883 with all this quality. Hopefully they can start clicking soon. Totally agree. Millennium, some fans are ridiculously impatient. Yeah, fair enough. And then quite an interesting one from Mark Morley here. Nope. I'm not actually convinced we're any stronger than last year yet. Weird, but just my opinion. It's all about opinions. It's all about opinions.
And you know what? In fairness to Mark, he has got a point because based on the performances, I don't, and this may shock pretty much everybody that I'm actually coming out with stuff like this. But in fairness, he's kind of right as well. It's his opinion, so in his head, he is right. But generally, he is kind of right because based on our performances, I don't see any massive improvement from last year. But once it all clicks and we get all these signings that you reeled off before, Waggie, all firing on all cylinders, and we can not just play good in one half, but sustain it, over 90 minutes. Obviously, no team is ever going to play 90 minutes of what we played against Bradford, that, in the first half. No one will ever do that. Teams will always change tactics and they'll have their own sort of period of pressure. But if we can just, we just need to not panic and just be able to sustain. Like, for example, Wigan's a perfect example. We controlled that first half. What happened in the second half, I don't know. It was like a brand new team put together. Disjointed, lopsided, whatever words you want to use. But yeah, he's kind of right what he's saying, Mark Morley. But I do believe, me personally, that this squad is capable of being right up there before the January transfer window opens.
Yeah, I think in some of these games, it's just when we've been dominant and on top, the Bradford game and in the Wigan game, what we've not done. Well, we did in the Bradford game, but at the Wigan game we got a goal and we didn't push on hard enough. I don't think to get a second goal, because I think that had, Bradford came back fair enough. They're a big club. It's easy to forget, and even like at Wigan, they've got. We've got Mark Stock. They've got a billionaire investor who wants to, return the club to higher up the divisions, and it's easy to forget that because obviously from our point of view, and I think this is one of the reasons the fans get impatient is, I think everybody knows that with the players that we've been signing are quality players, so there's high expectation for them. But like you say, we've gelled in periods, but then when teams have changed themselves formations and put a high press on us, and we've not really responded as well as what we need to. But I like you say, it's early days, and I think you make a really good point, Andy, because I think as the season develops, it will become more and more clear if there's a particular position that we really need to strengthen, and all the signs are if that is the case, we can pretty much rest assured it'll be
and that kind of follows on really from Stephen Fosbrooks' comment that we all know right now we need an extra body in midfield. I can, I'm not the most tactical of people. I can see that, and I just hope I can't see it happening, but I hope that we switch to a 4-3-3, because if we had the likes of Moxon, Osborne, and Norwood in that midfield, then the front three don't have to sit back as much, and that they can. Can you imagine it? It's just, but I can't see him dropping the wing backs.
Well, he did against Wigan, didn't he? He dropped the wing backs against Wigan, but that was another one. Andrew, he's gone to Exeter, hasn't he? Obviously, he's been given. Well, I suppose. For me, I'd have liked him to stay for a year. I think he was good enough and had the chance to do it, but he wasn't guaranteed of playing every week, was he? He was going to be a super sub. He was going to be coming on for 15, 20 minutes, maybe playing in some of the cup games. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to play week in, week out, whether that's replacing Ryan Rydell or playing alongside Ryan Rydell. We'll wait to see. But I think that was maybe a missed opportunity of getting him in, keeping him. But I'd say at the end of the day, and I think Dave Challoner alluded to, wasn't he? Footballers got to look after themselves. So if he's got a better deal or whatever he's got, then it's decent, isn't it? I just think we just need to click. Once we click, and again, get Bate back, get Camps back, give us that oomph, that needle grit that we've got in midfield, and everything else will start clicking together. Because it does seem, as much as we talk about how good Powell, how good, how good Norwood
I feel
is.
another apology coming on here.
How good Norwood is that teams seem to. It seems to be in the second half that teams get wise to it and they just see the closing down or cut out the supply to Norwood, and that stops a lot of our game. So if we've got somebody else that we can use as an outlet or be a bit more adventurous or try and take on the Norwood role, so if the ganging up on Norwood and trying to mark him out of the game, then hopefully we've got this Osborne who can sit 10 yards to the left of him, and suddenly he pick up the ball and start pinging it, and then the other team are like, oh shit, here we go, what's going on here? So hopefully, I think it just needs to click, doesn't it? As we said about like that first half against Bradford, it was absolutely brilliant. I think there's still a bit of fitness issues for me. I don't think everyone's fit. And I think you alluded to with Moxon, I don't quite think he's fully 100% at the minute. I think he does all right for 60 minutes and then starts to blow. But as we said, the likes of Fiorini, the likes of Bailey, they're not making the impact coming off the bench, are they?
No.
So,
whilst we are on this kind of subject, if people are a little bit worried about lack of players we brought in, we may have our own emerging talents.
Yes,
waiting in the ranks, mightn't we, Waggie?
Yes, well, we can talk about that. Obviously, we played in the Virtuoso, whatever shite cup thing that no one's interested in until you get to the semi-finals and possibly going to Wembley Cup from last night. Played Wolves under 21s, beat them 5-3, went 2-0 down after 13 minutes, I think it was. And I did fear for the worst because I knew there'd be changes. So I knew there'd be changes, but what I was quite surprised at from last night was not how weak, but how many non-first team players they had on the bench. Normally, like when we played Wigan in the cup the week before, he'd put quite a strong bench out. Whereas this, he literally played a mixture of fringe players that need minutes, that type of stuff, and some of the youth players. I think the youth players were brilliant last night. They were all. I don't think any of them had a bad game. So, did you actually go, Dave, or did you watch it?
I didn't go. Well, unfortunately, I was helping a friend yesterday. He lives in Buxton. I didn't get home till nearly kick-off time, but I watched it. I put the telly on as soon as I came in and had my tea watching it. So I felt like the same as you, perhaps, with 2-0 down. It's like, oh dear. But no, credit to him, and I saw what you saw. Fantastic performances from the youngsters. The lad who scored the 2 goals, that was his county senior debut.
Astley.
Goals.
Astles.
Yeah. Really, really cool. But yeah, some really good performances from the youngsters, and that was encouraging to see. I would have perhaps gone if I'd have been home earlier, but I couldn't get out of this commitment I'd made. So,
Did you watch or listen to it, Andy?
I watched bits of it. I forgot what I was going to say then. He's caught me off my conversation. My phone was going off. I like all games county, but it's probably one like most where you're
not asked until it's the semi-finals.
I'll go a little bit earlier than that. I'll go a little bit earlier. Probably when it goes to knockout is when I might drag myself. But as soon as the game finished last night, I put on our group, didn't I? Messaged Russ and said, "Are you another person where you drag yourself out of your house? To go and watch the game." But my phone was going off left, right, and centre last night, saying, "Who's that Edwards chap?" He looks very, very good. Corey Edwards, that's the chap we've got on loan from Rochdale, is it?
Yeah.
So we've got good. We've got players there waiting, haven't we? And I think. Go on, Dave.
I think we've got a real strong up and coming squad. Development squad's incredible, and some of these players are going to be really good footballers. I think you can see it, can't you? And I think that's one of the reasons Charlie wants to introduce them into the. there's always the argument of, do you put your strongest side out? Well, actually, if you're going to attract the young players, you need to they need to see a path towards the thing, don't they? And if they can see
it's a good comment that,
then it's going to encourage more to come. But the quality of the kids that we've got is absolutely top rate. They're really at the top of the game at that level, and you can see by what they've been achieving, some of the young teams, it's really impressive. So I think it's easy to forget that, and we haven't put a strong side out, we're not taking it seriously. Well, Charlie makes it very clear he doesn't like losing, does he?
I mean, I did say that it was quite a young team, but you still had obviously Hinchliffe, Alowu, Hills, Fiorini, Bailey, Mothershill, Lowe. They all started, so they, as you say, still I think Allen and Gardner played really well on the sort of right hand side. They seemed to have, you could see that they played together. For me, you could see they had a bit more of an understanding. I think Grogan did well, even though he obviously made the mistake for the second goal. But I think he was just unlucky that he got tackled where he did, and that was it. They were in on goal. I think he played well after that. The guys that came on, that Corey Edwards, he's the guy from Rochdale, isn't he? He had a really good game once he came on. And then, Joe Astles, those two finishes,
fantastic.
They were what? I was like, obviously John Kieran was saying he's 16. 16. I
thought
wow.
Gardner had a really good game as well.
Gardner had a good game.
He's on the fringes a few times, and he's when he's come on, he's not disappointed. He looks like a real good prospect for the future.
Yeah. And Fiorini got man of the match.
Did it? I didn't know that.
Yes. He got given man of the match from County, and I'm just looking at FOTMob in front of me, and he's got the highest rating, and FOTMob of 8.6.
Wow.
So because he had two assists, didn't he? He assisted.
Low.
Low and
both. I can't remember now.
No, Low and Astles.
That's it. Yeah.
But
in fairness to Fiorini, and I have said this openly, that he's not ticking all boxes at the moment. There is definitely a player in there, but in the second half, if there was any positive out of that second half against Wigan, was that I thought Fiorini had a decent game. Not many people had a decent game second half, but I thought he was one of the better players, should I say. And for him to emerge last night with man of the match and 2 assists, that's got to do his confidence the world of good.
To me, he looked like he had a different attitude last night, because, and I don't mean that I'm not saying that his attitude stunk beforehand, but he's tended to be playing with his back to goal and always looking for passing it backwards to the defence. Whereas last night, he seemed to be more wanting to get it on the half turn, wanting to looking forward to try and get that ball moving and try and get that ball forward, which, as I say, he got his 2 assists. So I think that was, he deserved man of the match. Maybe Astles had, but I think overall for the full game, I think he did well. I think Bailey played all right as well. Bailey played pretty well last night, considering they were the older heads within that team. So I think that's one of the things that we've said. They've not took it by the scruff of the neck when they've been given the opportunities, where I think they had to do that last night because of the other young lads that they had around them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it was a weird game to watch, because it didn't feel like a cup game. It didn't feel like a pre-season game. It almost felt like a charity game or like a soccer aid game. I don't know what it was. It just, because there was only like just over 1,000 fans there, wasn't there? They only opened up the Danny Bergara stand.
Yeah.
And so it was just like quite a weird one, but it just seemed it was, sort of, it was almost end to end, wasn't it? It was pretty decent.
Yeah. From that point of view, I read somewhere somebody was saying they enjoyed it because for that reason, obviously watched on telly, and because it was so end to end and there was a lot of goals, they enjoyed it. So I can see where they're coming from. Yeah.
I mean, Lowe's goal I thought was brilliant from him when the keeper passed it to him. And he just passed it into the back of the net. Yeah, passed it back.
I tell you what a technique that is. That's a hard to get. He almost volleyed it, didn't he?
Yeah,
like half volley. It was what a goal that was.
Yeah.
Now, if people are looking at me, and for the audio listeners who aren't looking at me, and I'm looking down, it's because Waggie, 5 minutes before coming on air.
Don't. Whoa. Don't.
No, I won't go into it. Basically, it has given me and Dave homework to do throughout the show for random shit of the week. And it's like, I can just about do one thing, let alone two things at once.
Why do you think I did that? It keeps you fucking quiet.
Surprisingly, though, it hasn't, has it?
No, it hasn't. No, you're right. It hasn't. So, anything else to add around the 5-3 victory from last night? Anything else you either want to add? If you're still listening, Andy, are you back in the room?
Yeah, yeah. Last night, no, it would have to be a game that I don't go to, wouldn't it? That we,
yeah, win 5-3.
Win 5-3.
So, yeah.
And I know it was I don't even know what's it called?
Virtue Cup, I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what Virtue do.
Reality of some sort? I don't know.
I don't know.
Virtue.
Not got a clue.
Bit of a guess.
We'll just touch. Do we agree? Because I'd seen on Twitter today that somebody put that is it time that we scrap this type of cup and get rid of the under-21s, because 7 under-21s teams played last night and all 7 of them got beat by lower league teams. So do we? I mean, for me, I think it needs to change. But do you think it needs to change because this is originally, going back, it was a League One, League Two trophy, wasn't it? It was a League One, League Two cup. So do you think we need to go back to that format?
The way I saw it, it was the Associate Members Cup, and as far as I'm concerned, the reason it was started was to give the clubs in the bottom 2 divisions a chance to get to Wembley. And I supported that because I think realistically, for the smaller clubs particularly, they were never going to get.
Not us, Dave. Not us.
No, I'm talking
6 years ago it was.
They're never going to get to Wembley, were they? In the FA Cup and even in the League Cup, it was a big ask. And I supported the idea, but like you say, it seems to have been. To me, it feels like it's been hijacked, and
it's been ruined by the Premier League again.
Yeah, and I don't agree with it. I don't support it. I don't like it. Like I say, if we get to Wembley, we'll probably go. But no, seriously, I'm not in favour of it. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what you were saying earlier, Dave, about the. What are you laughing at, Waggie?
County fan 69 has just summed it up. It should be called the Random Shit Cup. We're not sponsoring it. We're not going to sponsor it.
Yeah, but it kind of goes to what you were saying, Dave, about the sort of not fast tracking, but giving the younger players a chance to play. I can see what they were going with regards to the under-21 Premiership teams. It has to be a big competition for them, but why not create another competition? Keep the League One, League Two Championship club as it, cup as it is. It would generate more fans. I'm telling you now, I believe that if the under-21 Premiership teams went in there, and maybe create another cup that can involve the under-21. I don't know, but. Well, me personally, I think it's tried, it's done. A lot of people boycott it because they just don't agree with it, which I get. For me, I think it's maybe time to change it up and go back to the way it was.
Well, what do you think about it being League One, League Two, and National League as a straight knockout? I think that'd be really good. I think that would generate a lot more interest because, like, say, National League clubs coming to a League One side, and I know we did it when we were in the FA Cup with Bolton, but I think that would generate a lot more interest if we included National League clubs, because there's not a lot of difference now, is there, between League Two and and National League when you start looking at it, and they're all professional, they're all full-time clubs. They're very rare that any of the teams, even that come up from National League North or National League South, that are actually part-time anymore. So I think that would be an interesting take or an interesting thing to change it. Get rid of the 21s, bring the National League teams in and do it as a straight knockout.
Yeah, I think you should put your idea forward to
whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Mr. EFL president.
Yeah, and I agree. It should be just straight knockout.
Yeah.
And none of this. For me, it should be straight knockout, extra time, penalties.
Yeah.
None of this penalties to play for a draw or an extra point.
You get an extra point if it's a draw.
Like,
yeah, ridiculous.
Stop it. Just knockout, extra time, penalties. And even if they want to spice it up, do silver or golden goal. That golden goal rule, I hate it, especially when it cost England that time. But I don't know. Just it's not worked. He's tried. He's tested. It's not worked, and a lot of people don't bother with it because of the changes that they made.
Yeah, absolutely. So time is ticking on. So we're not going to talk about Wigan. That was covered on the review show with Jimmy and the boys. Really good. Interesting chat. I had a watch of that earlier. Good talking about how we played and the different things, quite in depth. Lauren is back this week with a preview show with, I can't remember what the Plymouth podcast is called, but I think she's recording that tomorrow. So hopefully we'll get that out tomorrow at some point. And so not going to talk about that. So I will hand you over to Dave to give us some co-op updates and some news.
Thanks for that, Waggie. Yep. We'll talk about some of the things that are going on at the co-op. We've got our AGM confirmed now for the 24th of November. It's going to be a 7:00 start at the Spinning Top on the A6. Thanks to Mike for agreeing to let us have the AGM there, and we are currently looking for people who want to get involved at a board level. We have actually had a couple of people put themselves forward, which is really good. But basically, if you want to get involved and you're not already a member, you need to be a member of the co-op towards the end of this month to be eligible to stand. So get in touch and put yourself forward. Obviously, there's a lot going on. We've got a huge amount going on at the moment. We were involved in the planning permission for Edgeley Park. Ken not got in touch with us, and I think after the first meeting, when the councillors didn't put a recommendation, he asked us if we'd attend the follow-up meeting on behalf of the county supporters, which we were pleased to do, and we had a board member speak at the meeting. It was very, very good. It was recorded, so that can be found online. And obviously, after that, it went to the follow-up meeting, and it obviously got passed, which was tremendous news. So we're in a good place with that. We've got a meeting planned with Martin Henderson, who's the interim COO of the new football regulator. So we're going to be having conversations about the Football Governance Act, which should be really interesting. So the first meeting's planned on the 17th, but more of an introductory meeting. I think what we'll do is hear what he's been doing since he's been involved, where they're up to with the process. But we're hoping that'll lead to follow-on meetings with regard to hopefully having some input from supporters. I know we met with Notts County's Supporters Trust quite recently, and he's meeting us on the 17th. So We're looking forward to that. That's going to be interesting. And as I say, hopefully follow-up meetings will be organised, and we'll talk to them a bit more in detail about some of the things that we think, the accountability, the financial side of football, all these kind of things, which we're hoping is going to make clubs more sustainable, which is really what it's all about. Obviously, the government.
So is that sorry to interject? Is that generally a conversation just around the whole of football, or is it more specifically about like Stockport County side of things, or is it?
No, it's not. It's more about general football and how it's governed. I mean, obviously, with what's happened at Morecambe, the likes of Chef Wednesday, there's Reading, there's a number of clubs, and I think the government, it's a government attempt to, and I think it was on the back of the Premiership not coming up with a deal that was agreeable to the rest of the division. So they've sort of said, if you don't sort it out yourselves, we'll appoint a regulator. I'm not sure at the moment what kind of what kind of authority he has. So we'll find out more about that. But that's going to be an interesting meeting.
Yep.
We've been involved in raising money for. So one of the things we did, obviously, we've sponsored the Flag Bearers scheme again, and over the years we've bought a lot of tickets and invited youngsters to come to Edgeley Park that are involved in junior football clubs, etc., etc. Obviously, since we've got back in the league and since the gates have been as high as what they've been, the club, didn't want us to do that for league games. So, because of the expansion plans for around Edgeley Park, we thought, well, the league attendances are great, but we might be able to do something to get people, youngsters and families, coming to some of the football, to some of the cup games, which aren't as well attended, generally speaking. So we invited kids to the Crew game when we played Crew, and we're hoping that we've got roughly about 100 tickets, and we're hoping that we're going to get home draw for the FA Cup. We don't really want to do it. We don't really want to do it for the cup that we've just been talking about, because, like you say, is that going to be a real production? Perhaps not, when you've only got 1,000 fans, one stand open. I think the kids want, they like all the atmosphere from the cheerland and even the pop side as well. They can create a bit of noise on the day, can't they, when they're in the mood. So we're hoping we're going to get either through a few rounds, and then hopefully we'll be able to get a home draw and get some more supporters. So thanks to the people that have sponsored that, we raised £1,500 in a matter of weeks. And it's all done by the fan base. But it's all done with a view of trying to get people ready, so that once the ground expansion's in place, we've actually got people there to fill those spaces, because obviously the ground expansion is only going to continue if we're filling the ground. So we're trying to play a part in that and work with the club to make sure that happens. And that's our way of trying to encourage people and new people to Edgeley Park, families and young kids. So that's ongoing at the moment. Mentioned the fact that we are continuing the discounted tickets for the coach travel from the Con Club on Edgeley, which is
if you can't say it in one big jargon, just say the ECCC, Dave. It works better.
Yeah. So that's good. And I think, like you say, I think it's really encouraging to find out that they're actually trying things like new luxury coaches and what have you. Because if you're going down to Plymouth, whichever way you look at it, it's a long way, and it's to have a bit of going on luxury coach is probably, if you're going to go, it's the way to do it, isn't it? If you can, and as I say, you get a slight discount. So by all means, get involved in the co-op. And if you're interested in joining, please get in touch with us soon. info@countysupporters.coop.co.uk.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that in the description and stuff once we
Yeah.
get this posted.
And I'll tell you one thing that we did recently, which is, I think, was been quite a big success. So one of the things we've been doing for a number of seasons is we have a supporters calendar, and football supporters calendar obviously doesn't run January to December. It runs April to May. So, and it has all the county fixtures on. But one thing we did this year that we'd never done before was we invited people to submit photos, and obviously the calendar is a group of photos for every month, but it's not of the players, it's of the supporters at home and away matches. And somebody had the bright idea of inviting the supporters themselves to submit photos.
Okay.
And that's been really popular. So Graham Privett's the one who's organised that. He'll take photos, or you can send them to us at what I've just provided. But Graham's email address is graham.privet@phonecoop.coop.uk. So yeah, send your photos in, and you might get it on a calendar. We have 200 printed, and we split the money between us and a charity. This year it was Wolfview House, who support people with hearing and sight difficulties. So really worthwhile local charity, and well worth supporting. That we sell the calendars for £10, so they're not expensive, and they have all the fixtures on England, international fixtures, dates. It's good. The phone out. In fact, this week we've sold out. Already. So
Does it have my birthday on there, Dave?
Well, I'll have a conversation with you after, Andy, and just check, because if it has, I blame Graham Privet.
Well, I'm surprised I've sold out even without my birthday on there. And I was chuckling to myself while she was talking there, Dave, because I think you've got to put these comments down in order that they came in, Waggie. First one is from County Fan 69.
Will there be strippers on at the AGM? That was his first comment to our very own John Pillsbury of Co-op. And sorry, Dave. So John Pillsbury has replied. Does the blog, and is also obviously one of the Co-op on the Co-op board. We haven't booked any yet, but I can have a go if you're desperate. Does that mean he's having a go to try and find some, or does that mean he's going to have a go as a stripper?
Well, if it brings people through the door, I'm sure Mike will be very happy. So I'm not too
sure. Brilliant.
So I mean, that's brilliant to hear everything about that. On another note, very, very, very early stages around this, but we are looking at the possibility of Stockport Bergara and the Co-op doing a joint event. That will be a live event that we'll get some. Well, we'll see what we can organise, but that's looking like it's going to be a live event. Hopefully, try and get some ex-players on, that type of stuff. Not sure. That's about as much detail as we've got for you, because that's about as much detail as we have between us.
But with the co-ops, they're in the know, and with us in the know, it's going to be good, whatever it is. So yeah,
it's something that we're looking forward to doing. I think, to be honest, as chair, my focus at the moment has been on the AGM and trying to get people, because we've got a few people that term limits are expiring, so they're stepping down, and we want to try and strengthen the co-op. And it was great that we've already got 2 people who've submitted sort of a bit of a CV of what they've done, and they've worked with charities in the past, and you read what they've done, and these are county fans, are season ticket holders. They've travelled. They've been in the Bergara. They've been in Cheeland, and now one of them's in the on the pop side on Yellow Block, I think it is. So I think these people, we're looking forward to having them join. And I think one of the things that we if we can grow the board a little bit, is like organising more events. And so if you've got any ideas about what you'd like give us a shout, and we'll try and. But I mean, it's great that you work together, and I'm looking forward to doing something. And like you say, I think it'll be a good event, whatever we do. So keep your ears open, and we'll get that advertised as quickly as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. John Bilsby has just replied saying, "I'll leave that up to you, Waggie." I'm not coming as a stripper. Sorry, John. Neil Deacon, I think that's no strippers, so it'll be Ollie No Wood. Yay! Brilliant. So yeah, thanks for that, Dave. Brilliant information. So the only thing that is left to do, the next to last thing we need to do is Andy speak.
Well, I had 2 bits of admin, but I forgot them.
Come back, Russell. He's forgiven.
What was it now?
You've been concentrating too hard.
We've got some of our Patreon members. That was it. Patreon members. If you're not a Patreon member, sign up. £3 plus VAT a month gets you exclusive content to our live shows that we do. We've got one currently being edited that we did with the Tony Dinning night, which was an absolutely brilliant night. Absolutely brilliant. I'm working on some other stuff as well. I won't give too much away, but I'm looking into the idea of a organised poker night.
Ooh.
So, but this will only be available to Patreon members. So, just because of limited numbers. So, yeah, we've got that in the pipeline. Possible quiz as well. Yeah, just loads of stuff going on behind the scenes, and yeah, £3 a month plus that is nothing, is it?
No, perfect. So the last thing that we've got to do is that. Am I okay with this now, Andy?
Yeah, you go. You're doing well, Waggie. You're doing well. It's like you're my Padawan. And
well, I was going to mention the patrons at the end when I closed the show, but obviously you've just jumped the gun. So.
I did. When everyone's in first chair, like where you are, they always forget stuff. So I just thought, if I just butt in and tell people, at least we've covered it. Yeah,
absolutely, yes. So the only thing we've got left of the week is
random shit of the week. It's random shit of the week. It's random shit of the week. It's random shit of the week. Random shit of the week.
Joking. Not another one? Oh, for God's sake.
That couldn't be any more fitting, could it? It really couldn't. It's just...
Yeah, Russ, I don't know if Russ has come up with it or he's been sent that, but Russ posted that to our group through the week. And yeah, it's absolutely hilarious. I think it just fits everything that we talk about for random.
Well, yeah, week. Totally. When we saw it, I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, exactly.
But then thinking about it, that's pretty much the kind of thing that we're trying to put out there, aren't we? Yeah, it's just random, just like the intro. Anyway, yes. Over to you, Waggie. You dickhead.
Thank you very much. So yeah, if you do have any suggestions for random shit of the week, going back from the ones that we've done so far, if you like them, then let us know and we can, we'll do them again. If you think the shite, then we can pack them away. We've got some other ideas of things that we do as we're going along. But yeah, if you like it, get involved. And
if you like Steve Barsley, who's part of the podcast, he only seems to like the ones that you do, Waggie, not the ones I do. I mean,
it's only natural, Andy. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's only natural.
Yeah, fair enough.
But you're not going to like this one, or you don't like this one. So
no.
This week, and this is a good one. So everybody who's watching at the time, everybody who's listened to this, please get involved on social media. Give us your opinions. So what it is this week, this is the County Frankenstein. So we are going to create a County Frankenstein monster. And when I say that, what I mean is we are going to pick a player who had the best left foot, the best right foot, the best header, the best leader, the most skillful, best intelligent, and the best looking, because we need a face for Frankenstein, don't we? So so we are going to start. So as Andy said, I've been thinking about this all day, not thinking about the actual players that would make up my Frankenstein, but whether or not to give Andy and Dave a heads up. So I decided it was best not to, and it was best to wait until they came on 10 minutes before we were going live and then threw it at them. So as you can see, that's partially why Andy has been quiet in moments and not concentrating and looking downwards. he's not looking at a little dog or looking at his cat or anything like that. He's actually been concentrating.
And can someone mute Matthew, County 1883? We know who your favourite keeper is. Just stop.
We've not put best hands. Yeah, we've not put best
Just-
hands. So
Can I ask
yeah.
a question, Waggie?
Yes.
This Frankenstein, he might not have any legs because I haven't got anybody for the first two answers.
You've not got a left foot or a right foot?
I'm not at the moment, no. But I've got answers for all the rest of them because it's difficult
Right.
when you think about it. The trouble with me is I overthink things, and I've been going to county a long
So
time.
it was probably best that I only give you 10 minutes beforehand, because if you'd have been thinking about this all day, you'd have had nothing. You'd have no work done.
No, I've got everything else. But I'm
Well,
not-
you say overthink things. I've got 3 players written down for intelligent, so I've no idea who I'm going to go with.
This should be really interesting. So, well, I suppose we're going to start with you, Andy. We did say the best to start with, best left foot. Who have you got is going to be our Frankenstein's left foot?
Kevin Cooper.
Kevin Cooper. Yes, that was exactly what I was thinking. That was pretty much the only one that I'd written down was the left foot, because I'm left-footed. So Kevin Cooper is probably one of my best players ever to play in a county shirt. That's my.
It was a toss up between him and if you want to use this one as an alternative, Dave, Pilkington.
Pilks.
Yeah, I to be honest, I'd struggle to disagree with you about Coops, because what a wonderful player. And I remember he was interviewed once, and he came out with a comment which always stuck with me. And he said, "I just love attacking when we're running against and playing towards the cheatle end." He had that ability, didn't he? I mean, he was just tremendous to watch and very skillful. And that Pilks, another great player. I thought his performance at Wembley was absolutely outstanding. But over a consistent period, Coops, it takes some beating, in my opinion. Yeah. So to be fair, I think we're all agreed with that one.
Right. So you're jumping on Cooper as well. Okay.
Are you drawing this, Waggie? Are you drawing like Cooper's left foot?
No, I'm writing the name down. That's about as straight as I'm getting.
If we have any artist listeners, and when we come up with our final Frankenstein, if they can draw us a copy of what we're doing that fits each of the people, that would be brilliant.
Well, we'll see. So, I mean, anybody that's watching, then please get involved. Give us your answers as we're going through. We've not got any comments around the left-footed, so I'm guessing pretty much Kevin Cooper's there or thereabouts. So, Frankenstein's right foot. Who have you gone for, Andy?
I kind of have to go for this player because he watches the show, and he was my favourite player. Chris Marsden.
Chris Marsden. Okay. Interesting, yeah. Have you got anybody, thought of anybody?
Dave? Well, I mean, the thing was, when Marsden was playing, it was a partnership, wasn't it? The Marsden and Bennett, it was just complemented each other so well, I thought.
In fairness, it never said best right foot with the ball. Chris Marsden used his right foot for everything, didn't he? So...
Or did he just hop along on his right foot all game?
Who have you gone for, Waggie?
Well, I did actually. I put Ali Gibb for his crossing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, for his crossing. So There we go. But yeah, so yeah, we've got Adam Thomas, we've got Marsden or Bennett, decent ones. So I've not put one for this because I couldn't think of one. The best header, who have we got? So Dave, you go first.
I've gone for Kevin Francis. And
Kevin Francis.
I do. I mean, obviously, the thing was, I think when Kevin scored his first 100 goals, I think there was almost an equal split of like 50 with his foot and 50 with his head. And obviously, being as tall as what he was probably helped. But I mean, even when you're big, it's for me, Francis in the air was something. He was unstoppable at that times, and fantastic.
Yeah, for me, great shout that. But for me, more because obviously this player was around my area. Obviously, my first game was the Ian Dowie own goal. So, and it's not Ian Dowie. But is Brett Angel.
Angel, yeah, good shout. So we got a few coming in. Ash Palmer, Mickey Flynn, Jim Fryatt. So yeah, it's good. I just say this is like your five-a-side team. I don't think anybody is going to be the same Frankenstein monster. So that's quite interesting. So next one, best leader. Who do we think was the best leader? Have you got one, Dave? We'll go with you again for this one.
Best leader for me, Flinney, I think. Yeah, Captain Fantastic. And
Captain Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, it was something very special about that side. And, when we didn't only deserve to beat Premiership sides, we were doing it consistently when we went cup running. There was something about that team. It wasn't a fluke. They were fantastic, and I thought he held the team together. And he was a leader in that team.
Absolutely,
fabulous team. I was at Blackburn.
Sorry, Dave. Who have you gone for, Andy?
Well, I've got two written down, but now I'm using one of them later. So I've gone for Liam Hogan.
Hogan. Okay.
I just thought at the time that he was with us, he was brilliant. And he's a lovely lad as well. He proper owned that captaincy, and he was part of a championship winning side, wasn't he? So yeah.
So yeah, for a few people agree with Flinney. A couple of others, we've got Jim Goodwin, Bill Williams. Decent shouts there.
Jim Goodwin's a great shout.
Yeah, absolutely. Most skillful. We'll start with you, Andy. Okay, we'll start with you, Dave.
Well,
I've got about 15 names written down for that one.
I've got the one that stood out for me for being skillful was Terry Park. Just incredible player. And I don't know if you remember him, but
before my time, that
it was before your time. But the story behind he was an incredible player at a time when there was one or two skillful players, but obviously the game felt like fourth division then was a lot more physical, and he didn't have, but his skill level was phenomenal. And he, cut a long story short, he left us and went to America, Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and he was there when George Best was there. And the story goes, he kept George Best out the side. That's how skillful.
Wow.
He was off the scale. He was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Andy, have you decided?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick. My first answer was Pilkington.
Pilks.
He had everything in his locker. He could take people on. He could do a trick. He could do, and yeah. My other one was Jack Diamond.
Well, there's a couple of people in the comments saying Jack Diamond, Cavaco. That's got three people saying Cavaco. Yeah. And another one, Proudlock, Adam Proudlock.
Funnily enough, I had down as my second, because he did some wonderful things with a football, didn't he? When he was in the mood.
when he was in the mood. Yeah. So, best intelligent or most intelligent player. We'll go with you, Dave.
Well, I went for, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I went for Brett Angel.
Brett Angel. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Andy.
I've got 3.
Well, we only want 1.
Well, I'm going to give you the 3 just because I've gone for.
Not got enough paper for this.
Right. Well, I'll pick one. Well, the 3 were Gary Dicker.
Yeah.
Dominic Blizzard.
Okay.
And then my final one is, and this is the one that I'm going to go with, is Norwood.
I was going to say he's
I
got
think
to be
in
in that
terms of
conversation.
intelligence, he has to be by far the most intelligent player we've ever had. He is on a different level, but he plays in a way he can adapt to be intelligent enough for the squad he's playing with, and that is class.
Yes,
to be able to ping balls to players that he knows he must know well far.
Sorry,
in advance.
County 1883. It is football intelligence, not just intelligence in general. We're talking footballers. No disrespect to footballers.
We're not talking on who would go to
Cambridge University
to be a millionaire.
But yeah, we've got Frank Worthington, Jim Gannon, Sean Connolly. We've got Norwood a few times. So yeah, I'd put Norwood. I'd put Norwood down for that. And then finally, who's the face of our Frankenstein? Who's the best looking county player to pull on a shirt?
Well, I went. Do you want my opinion?
Yes, go for it, Dave.
I went for Glenn Rule for his haircut. It was that his hairstyle was that good. He didn't like getting it dirty.
Oh, Glenn Rule.
That's like that. That was brilliant. Brilliant. So, Andy, who've you gone for the face?
Well, I've gone for, that's a great shout, Nigel. But I've gone for, it has to be someone who's basically masked their look and image on me. So it's none of
we're just saying Frankenstein.
So, whoa. Now be careful, Waggie, because I'm not sure Paddy Madden would agree with you. So I'm going with Paddy Madden.
Paddy Madden. Very good. Very good.
He is, in fairness, he's a good-looking chap, isn't he, Paddy Madden?
He's a good-looking chap, yeah. Yeah. I'd gone for Brad Hills. I'd gone for the easy one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Brad Hills.
Is it the hair?
It's the hair, and it's just chiseled jaws and stuff. And when we seen him at the training ground last year, it was just like, oh, fuck off.
Walking in, swaying.
Yeah, it was just like a by leader advert. So there we go. So yeah, brilliant. I quite enjoyed that. How did you find that? Making your own Frankensteins? So yes, please.
It's good fun.
Yeah, we've had a few suggestions as we were going through. We'll try and get this posted on the socials. Give us your own Frankensteins and any sort of computer generated or hand drawn fag packet drawings of your own Frankensteins as you give us who you are. That'll be most excellent. So we went through left foot, right foot, header, leader, most skillful, most intelligent, and the best looking face for our Frankenstein. So brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Enjoyed the evening again. Thank you very much for coming on, Andy. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, no worries.
Very good information for the co-op and stuff. And all I've got left to say is please, subscribe, like, do all that type of stuff. Get onto Patreon because you get all this ad-free. You get invited to our special events. It's only £3 a month. We do have a monthly prize draw as well, which has just been drawn. That was shown onto the... that's been put on Patreon. We also have, as we said, with Overpass, there is a discount code that you have if you're a patron member. So not sure how long that's going to last, but it'll be there for a while, hopefully. And the only thing I can say is cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, Waggie. Thanks, Dave.